Hey, what's going on, fellas? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here, answering your questions today. Today's question is, what is it like to get traded, or what is it like to be signed by a new team and be the new guy where you don't know anybody? What is that like? It's happened to me a couple times in my career, and so let's talk about it a little bit today. So, I spent the first 5 years of my career with the Padres. And when you are with the same team every year, it's obviously really, really comfortable. Every season you walk into the spring training complex and you pretty much know somebody. Most of the time you know a lot of the guys, right? So it's like, it's not that difficult. It's like going through school and just moving up to the next grade. Like you walk in the first day and it's like, hey, what's going on, fellas? Like, it's good seeing everybody again. It's a really comfortable feeling and obviously makes things really, really easy. And I did that for the first 5 years of my career. And even that first season, when you first get drafted, you may think like, oh, you go someplace where you don't know anyone, but nobody knows anybody. So like everyone's meeting each other for the first time. And I actually did end up knowing a couple people because I played with them in Cape Cod League, or I'd played with them in some other league. And so you know a couple of guys. But everyone's in the same boat. So that first year is pretty easy too, because everyone's like, hey, like nobody knows anybody. How you doing? Nice to meet you. That all changed when I was signed a free agent deal with the Nationals. And that was the first time when I showed up to spring training that year. I walked in the clubhouse and I didn't know anybody. And the tough part is most of those guys, because you're going to a team that's been together for a while, they all know each other. And so you walk in and it's a little bit strange and awkward. And depending on your personality, like for me, I am not someone that's going to walk into a room that I don't know anybody and be like, yo, what's up, fellas? How we doing? Like, I'm not really like that. I feel like once I get to know people, I get really comfortable and then I talk. But I'm pretty quiet if I don't know anybody. And so, like, the first few days when I was with Washington, like, people probably looking at me like, what's looking at the weirdo over there sitting in the corner all by himself? Like, I kind of sat in my locker and, like, talked to people if they came over and introduced myself, but I wasn't, like, super outgoing and going to go around the clubhouse and say hi to everybody and stuff. So the first couple days are a little bit awkward. You slowly meet people. And then, a couple days in, a week in, you start to feel like you've been there for a long time. But it is definitely different and can be not difficult. Difficult is the wrong word. It's, I guess, just different, right? It's a little bit awkward at times, meeting some of the new people, and there's a lot of people in there. Obviously at spring training there's a ton of guys on the team, so that was my first experience signing with a new team as a free agent. Now I did that again the next year in Baltimore, and I kind of had to go through the same process again. Now the one thing is, the more years you play, the more years you play against people, you meet new people, and so when you start switching teams a lot, especially as you get older, you'll recognize more guys you've played against them, you've talked to them on the field, or you might have played with them way back in the day, and so it becomes a little bit easier. So I think the second year doing it with Baltimore is a little bit more comfortable for me. But then that season, I got halfway through the season, I get claimed by the Yankees. So I got designated for assignment, which means I got taken off the 40-man roster with the Orioles, and I got claimed with the Yankees. So I'm playing in AAA with the Orioles, and then all of a sudden one day I'm not on the Orioles anymore, and they say, pack your bags, you're going to the Yankees. And so I got sent to AAA with the Yankees, and so I got my car in Norfolk, Virginia, and I drove to meet my team in Rochester, New York. And so, actually, no, I didn't meet them in Rochester. I met them in Columbus, and then we went to Rochester. So I met them in Columbus. We're playing against the Indians. That's their AAA affiliate. And so, I walk into the clubhouse there, and it's a little bit different now, because now you're walking into a clubhouse of a team that's already been together for like 2 months. And so now they really know each other. And when I went to the Yankees AAA team, I don't think I really knew really anybody. I might have known one guy. And so that was definitely different, because the team's kind of already, really formed a bond, and now you're like the new guy halfway through the season. And that's the only time that happened to me in my whole career, where I went to a new team halfway through the year, which makes it even more difficult. I remember when I first walked into the clubhouse, like I walked in and you go right to the manager's office. And I walked in the manager's office, and one of the coaches in there, who ended up being awesome, one of my favorite coaches, he says, I walked in. Now, here's the thing. Like, I always have kind of like this I don't know if you want to call it beard, but I have like this scruff, so I never shave with an actual razor. I always use like an electric razor, but I never go down to, I don't know what you want to call it. I always keep this. I keep a little bit here, right? I hate being clean shaven. And with the Yankees is that there's a must shave policy. Like you have to be clean shaven. And so I walked in the clubhouse, and I walked into the manager's office, and I didn't even say hello. I didn't even say anything. I walked in, and the coach looked at me and said, "Go shave your effing face." And I was like, "Okay, it's very nice to meet you. I'm gonna go shave my effing face now." And so I went in the clubhouse, went to the bathroom, and usually in the clubhouse they have like a bunch of just disposable razors just kind of sitting in there. And I literally like, I didn't even know how to use one. Like I've never shaved with an actual razor, clean shaven before, never. And so I was like, 20, at that point I was like 28 years old, I think. And I'm trying to like figure out how to shave, like how to put the shaving cream on my face and how do I shave. And then I finished like, excuse me, shaving. And then I went and introduced myself to everybody. So that was kind of my first experience being with the Yankees. And, out of all the teams I was with, even though I never made it to the major leagues for the Yankees, I was in AAA the whole time. It was definitely like the one organization where I could feel like things were different. Like that never happened to me in any other organization. Like they had different rules. They seemed to conduct themselves a little bit differently. Like you could tell that you were with the New York Yankees, and maybe there are some other teams that are like that. I've only played with 5 teams in my career, but they were different than all the other ones. So, but it ended up being, I loved my time there. I love my time with pretty much every team that I was ever with. Like the guys always end up being great guys. And so I never had a group of guys that I was like, man, I don't like these guys. Like I wish I was with my old team. Like every team I got traded or I got sent to or I signed with, like I always ended up enjoying the guys and meeting new players and forming new friendships and stuff. And so it was actually, looking back, it was really, really easy and pretty seamless in all the transitions. It was just, those first couple days, like I said, are always a little awkward. And the coach that told me to shave my effing face ended up being like, that was just his personality. He was an awesome dude. And actually ended up being probably one of my favorite coaches that I had, even though I was only there for a little bit. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into what it's like to be traded or sent to a new team or signed with a new team and some of the dynamics that go along with that. So let me know if you have any more questions in the comment section below. I'm trying to answer as many as I can for you guys. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Share the video with all your friends. Give it the thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. Check out the description box below. I've got a bunch of stuff down there for you guys to check out as well. And that is all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.